So it is not enough to find out the cash flow. For determining the value, we also need to convert the cash flow in terms of the present value. And how do we convert the cash in terms of a present value? By discounting the cash flow. And I'm sure you will remember, if it is, and please pay attention, if it is free cash flow for firm, then you will discount it by WACC, weighted average cost of capital. And if it is free cash flow for equity, then you will discount it using the cost of equity. So in exam, either you would be given the either you would be given the cost of equity clearly, or you will be given certain numbers regarding the CAPM. So you have been given the numbers regarding the CAPM in this case. So let us find out a cost of equity for this particular case using the CAPM. And what is CAPM? I am sure you will remember, but just for the benefit of every one of you, I'm going to write it. It is risk-free rate of return, then plus your beta, and then the bracket starts, and you take your market return, and you from the market return you minus your risk-free rate of return. And this is the formula for finding out your cost of equity. So all of you, please tell me what is my risk-free rate of return? It is 7%. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Surya.
Sir, yes, yes.
Okay. And then what I do? I take the beta. How much is my beta?
1.5.
Okay, please 1.5. Okay, so all of you have to be absolutely clear about. So whatever number you are going to give me, I am going to use those numbers. So if you give me a number which is wrong, the calculations are going to be wrong. So all of you please be totally attentive. Okay, very good. Now, what is the market rate of return given to you in the case study?
12%.
12%. So you write here 12%, right? So it is 12. And your risk-free rate of return is already given to you, which is how much? 7. So then you close the bracket. Yeah. So I hope it should give you the answer. So let's see, it should give you the answer. And this is coming 14.5%. So does it make sense to every one of you that your cost of equity is 14.5%? That means you will need to discount your cash flows at the rate of 14.5%. Is that fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, remember, and Sanjay, Ankit, please pay attention. So, for finding out the cash flows, future cash flows, we use the future value investment factor. For finding out the present value of the future cash flows, we will need to find out the present value of investment factor, right? So that is referred as discounting factor. So I'm just going to write here discounting factor, just for your information. Now, how do I find the discounting factor? And please be with me. So I will find out the discount factor for the first year by taking, remember what was the formula? The formula was 1 upon 1 plus k for the first year. Am I right? Okay, so I write here k 1 and divided by 1 plus k, which is how much? 0.145. Is that right? So for your benefit, I can also write it so that you have no confusion. Plus 0.145. Yeah, okay. No, I'm going to divide it. Don't worry. I'm going to divide it. Thank you.
It should be divided, sir. It should.
Yeah. Is that fine now, Sanjay?
Yeah.
Ankit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So ये आ गया आपका discounting factor. अभी remember discounting factor, you take maximum in 3 digit. Don't take more than 3 digit because it is not going to make any difference on your decision. So in this column we will make the numbers in 3 digits. So I'm just going to increase it to one more digit. Right. Now this is my discount factor for year 1. Now please remember, how do I find out the discount factor for year 2? For year 2, it is going to be 1 upon 1 plus k raised to 2. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. So that means what I need to do, I need to, what I need to do is, what I need to do is divide this again by 1.145, and this is what I get actually. Are you with me, everybody? Sanjay, Ankit?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Do you follow it now? So why I have divided by again by 1.145, 1.145, because this is the present value of the second year's cash flow. But remember, instead of doing such a complicated thing, what you can do, because this is your present value investment factor for the year 1. So what you can do, instead of doing it so many times, you just put a equal sign here, go here, and divide it by 1.145, and what you get the same number, isn't it, everybody?
Yes.
Ankit?
Sir, yes. Clear, sir. Clear.
Clear. Okay, very good, very good. Now what I need to do, since I'm using Excel sheet, I do not have to do the same circus again. I can simply drag it down. So when I drag it down, I get the discount factor for the remaining 3 year also. Now what I do,
In exams, we can use Excel sheet, sir.
no,
Available?
Excel sheet is not available. You can use only calculator.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Pramod, Excel sheet is available.
Excel sheet is,
Available. Excel or OpenOffice, one of them is available.
is it so?
Yes, 100%.
Acha, okay. If then it's a good,
Spreadsheet is available, I think.
then it's a good news for you. So because what I was told, and what I was under the impression, that you could use an ordinary calculator and nothing more, and remember, calculator is inbuilt into the into the computer. So you do not have to really carry a calculator also, but those are minor things. And remember, all of you, please pay attention. People fail in the evaluation examination not because paper is tough. And I'm repeating it once again. Please remember, for the knowledge of every one of you, people fail time and again in the evaluation exam not because the paper is of very complex nature. No, paper is not at all complex nature. People fail because their preparation is of very low quality. Basics also they don't come prepared. Then obviously, because you can answer a MCQ even if you have read about it, and believe me, I'm not exaggerating, I'm telling you something which is absolutely 100% time tested. If you have read a topic, you would be able to answer MCQ on that topic without any problem. But if you have not read that topic, then even God can't help you. So people fail. So you will not need the Excel sheet, really speaking, to solving the case studies. A simple calculator will be good enough. This is just for your information. But in case if the Excel sheet is available, and if you are able to use it without wasting time, you can of course do that. Very good.
I want to say one thing.
Please.
When the course is launched by the Institute of Chartered Accountant or cost accountant, but there is no proper book, no person who can teach a right way. So what is the way before us? So that is for the institute to take the actions and make the books in a proper form.
Right. No. I understand your point, Ritesh. Maybe what we need to do is we need to write to the respective institutes of all of us and tell them that please improve the quality of the material that you are supplying, and please also do something about the program which is being delivered, we can approach them, we can inform them. And many times, what happens, Ritesh, many times people discuss but they don't write, and that's why nobody takes cognizance of it.
That's
But if like all of us can do that, we can write to the all of us member of all the three institutes, so we can write to them with good intention that please do so. And I'm sure it's not a big deal. By the way, just for your information, I am going to write a book on valuation. As a matter of fact, I have already started writing the book on valuation, understanding the need of the students, because I really want to bring out a book which is absolutely fantastic. That means it should really meet all your it should have the content which are relevant actually. Because if many books, this is the feedback that I have gathered from a lot of people, they say books are there, but there's so much of irrelevant content is there that you are spending time reading and preparing those content, but it is not helping in the exam. So that's a news I thought I'll share with you.
Even if you read any of the RVO books now, you will confuse more.
Yeah, true. Devang, unfortunately, unfortunate, but you are right, actually. You are right. See, because, I tell you what has happened. How these books have been written. These books have been written without application of mind. Somebody was asked, okay, we are coming out with an RVO, we have to launch the exam, this is the syllabus, please write a book. So the person did not write the book, he just compiled the material. यहाँ से उठाया, वहाँ से उठाया, यहाँ से उठाया, वहाँ से उठाया, उसको इकट्ठा करके एक बुक बना के पब्लिश कर दिया है। तो कंटेंट की क्या रिलेवेंस है, क्या कॉन्ग्रुएंस है, क्या कंटिन्यूटी है, वो सारा मिस हो गया. सो एनीवे, गॉड विलिंग I should be able to finish this book as quickly as possible, and I would really try to do it, because I can feel that there is a very strong need for a book like this. Okay, so now what we do then, we find out the
When will your book come in the market?
actually I am just working on it, this book, so it will take some time. I mean, it'll take 2-3 months to will take.
Sir, do you require any help? I am willing to do that.
Yeah, sure. I will definitely make use of your support. Definitely. All right. Now what we do? We find out the.
Any one of us is willing to help you.
No. Thank you so much, Devang. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, and that would really be great. And I would ensure all of you being the members of the first batch of this coaching program that we are doing, I will ensure that I involve all of you in one way or the other in completion of that book, being the participants of the pioneer batch of this coaching program.
Thank you. Sir.
Okay.
Sir, kindly keep the level of the book not only for the passing of examination but also on a practical, like for professionals also, like.
Absolutely, Anil. Absolutely. Your point, Anil, is already there in my mind, because why should there be two books? There has to be one book, and that book has to be so comprehensive that people should fall in love with that book. Actually, people should. And by the way, incidentally, just to let you know, the two books that I have published already, Finance for Value Creation and You Are a Born Winner. This is what people come and tell me, sir, we picked up your book and we are carrying that book in our bag all the time as a reference book. So whenever we are in any dilemma, any confusion, any doubt, we refer the book. And I want the same thing to happen even for the book on valuation also. Very good, friends. Okay. So now let's come to the E column. And in E column, what we are doing is we are finding out the present value of future cash flow for equity. So how do I do it? It is very simple. This is the meaning of discounting also. So when you apply the discounting factor to the corresponding cash flow, you get your present value of that cash flow. So this is your present value of the cash flow of the first year. And remember, we are using Excel sheet, so we do not have to do the same thing time and again. We just need to drag it down. And when we drag it down, what we get, we get the present value of all the future cash flows, and then what I do, I sum it up, and when I sum it up, so I get this figure of 468.19, and this, friends, I am sure you will understand, this is my present value for the explicit period. So I'm going to write it for your benefit, so that you have a complete clarity. So this is present value of explicit forecast period. Are you all with me? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Good.
yes, yes.
So
yes.
up now, this is remember, it's a two-stage model. So we have completed stage 1, and now we need to come to the stage 2. And what is the stage 2? And this formula I am shifting to the side now that you have understood it already. So I'm just keeping it here in case you will need it later on sometime. And let me move this up. Okay, so now what we need to come to the second stage. And now what is the second stage? This is the first stage, explicit period forecast, and I would even do that so that you have a better clarity. I write it here, first stage, so that it becomes still more clear to you. And then what I would do, I would write here second stage, and I would say it is terminal period. Are you there, everybody? So, okay. Now remember, I'm sure you would remember the formula for calculating the cash flow for the beginning of the terminal year or terminal period. What it is? It is dn plus 1, right? So what is dn? This is dn. 176.23 is dn. Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Everybody? Ankit?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Very
yes.
good. And Sanjay? Sanjay?
D, sir, just D, this number D.
dn. You remember the formula? dn plus 1. The numerator has to be dn plus 1.
Okay, sir, yes.
Right? Okay. So now remember what we are trying to find out. We are trying to find out the cash flow at the beginning of the terminal period. So this is my cash flow at the beginning of the terminal period. So I will write it here. Cash flow at the beginning of the terminal period. Is that fine, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm shortening it so that it fits into the. Okay. So we are finding out the cash flow at the terminal beginning of the terminal period. How do we do it?
Okay, sir.
How do we do it? This is my cash flow of the last year of the explicit period. And what is my growth rate for the terminal period, everybody? What is my growth rate for the
5%, sir.
5%? So what will I do? I will multiply 1.05. So this is my cash flow of the terminal, cash flow at the beginning of the terminal period. Everybody, are you all with me?
Yes.
Please have no hesitation, and I will really love to explain it as many times as possible so that you are absolutely clear about it. Actually. So
Sir,
yes, please go ahead.
sir, D n plus 1 is okay, and then I am multiplying 1.05.
Correct. That's right. That's correct.
So 1.05 is our growth rate in the terminal period.
Yeah.
Is that, no?
No, the growth rate for the terminal period is 5%.
Okay.
Now, so you are compounding the cash flow of the last year of the explicit period. So you are compounding. So you have to multiply 176.23 with 1.05, because if you make the mistake of multiplying this cash flow with the 0.05, what will happen? You will just get 8.81. So you have to multiply it with 1.05, since the growth rate during your terminal period is 5%. Now please remember, this is the cash flow at the beginning of the terminal period. Now we need to find out what is the cash flow for the entire terminal period. And how do we find out? If you remember the formula, so what we need to do, so I'm writing here FCFE for the terminal period. How do we find it out? Can somebody tell me?
Yes, sir.
How will you do it?
The growth rate.
How will you do it?
Sir, 185.05 divided by cost of equity minus growth rate.
Fantastic, Sanjay. Very good. Ankit?
Got, sir, got.
Okay, very good.
100%.
Very good. So what I will do is I'll take this figure, divided it by 0.145, which is my discounting rate, minus 0.05, which is my growth rate during the terminal period. Enter. So this is my cash flow for the entire terminal period, right? Friends, I am sure you will remember why do we use this model? Because this model helps to quantify. This model helps us in quantifying the cash flow of the infinity otherwise. So that infinity is converted in terms of the terminal period, and you are able to get the cash flow for the entire terminal period through this process. I am going to share this Excel sheet with all of you so that you will know how we have arrived any of those things in any case. Right. Now what we need to do, this is my cash flow for the terminal period. I still need to convert it in terms of the present value. Always remember, for converting the cash flow of the terminal period in present value, you will need to use the discount factor which was applicable to the last year of the explicit period. So which means, what is going to be my discount factor here? My discount factor is going to be this. Are you all with me, everybody?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. And now what I need to do, I simply need to multiply the discount factor with the terminal cash flow. And what do I get? I get the present value of the terminal period cash flow. Is that fine, everyone? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Kamal,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Varun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, fantastic. Now, what do I do? Remember, it is two-stage model. So, how do I find out the equity value? Equity value is equal to present value of explicit forecast period, or I will just simply write explicit forecast period plus present value of terminal period, right? So this is the formula for finding out your equity value, and that's the formula. So what do we do now? We will I'll just shorten it so that it fits into so now what do I do here? I would say this is the present value of the first stage of the cash flow, and this is the present value of the terminal cash flow, and this becomes my equity value for this company. Okay, so this is my equity value. Now you have been given, how do I find out the enterprise value? And I'm writing it here. Enterprise value is equal to equity value
Plus debt.
plus the debt value. That's your enterprise value. Okay, so this is your formula for this, and what I'm going to do is reduce in size so that you have this available. So this is my equity value, and it has been given to you in the case study that debt value is how much? It is 500 crore. So add 500 crore and this becomes your enterprise value. Now we also need to find out per share value. Now remember, this is what will happen in most of the cases. Some information will be given to you directly. Some of one or two information will not be given to you directly. You will have to understand the case and reach to that figure. So in this case, what we have given the for the year 1920. All of you be with me. For the year 1920, the future cash flow of the equity has been given, which is 100 crore, and then it is also given per share. Future cash flow of equity is 10 rupees. So that means what? That means FCFE for 1920 in crores is given, which is how much? It is 100 crore. It is also given FCFE per equity share. How much it is? It is rupees. It is in rupees. And how much it is? It is just 10 rupees. So I can get the number of shares. So number of shares of this company will be how much?
10 crore.
10 crore, right? So in
10 crores.
10 crores, right, everybody? 10 crores. So I would write here 10 crore. So what is the value per share?
145.79.
Equity value per share is, what I need to do is very simple. So value, equity value, which is 145.97 divided by the number of shares, which is 10 crore, and so equity value comes to 145.79. So please tell me, friends, any one of you, if you have a doubt, then I can still explain.
Sir, your cash flow
Yep.
during 1920.
Yeah.
Sir, little up, please. Your screen. A little up, please, sir.
Up. Okay.
Little
Okay.
up.
Okay. Okay. Here.
Down.
Down. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Further down.
Yeah, further down.
All right.
Sir, this 100 rupees, which is referring in row number 21,
Right.
is a cash flow.
It is the future cash flow of equity. Yes.
It's a cash flow of 1920.
1920 actual.
Your per share price is 10.
No. Per share price. No, it is not the per. Yeah. Per share. FCFE.
I will read. The company per share of free cash flow equity is 10.
Yeah.
Then if you consider the free cash flow and divide 10, then next year if I 140, the number of shares will change accordingly.
No. No, Surya. This information is a static information.
No, sir, probably if it is 140 instead of 100 rupees, if it is 140, your number of shares will be different. I cannot go based on my
No.
cash flow.
No.
Sir, you got my point.
Yeah, I will explain to you. I'll explain to you. Okay, let me put it in very simple words. uh, stretching the same example. Uh, we are in 2021. 2021, the future cash flow of equity has become 120. So
So now we have the number 2021, just go up, sir. We have the value.
no, wait a minute.
Sir, please, sir, let us do that thing. I will explain something went wrong here.
No, Surya. Okay, let me explain to you. I'm understanding where your doubt is coming from. So I have understood your doubt, because the confusion that you have, I have understood. Remember, this information which has been given is a static information. What is the meaning that it is a static information? That this information is given to you with regard to the year 1920. So in 1920, my actual FCFE was 100 crore, and the number of shares I knew was 10 crore. Obviously, because I knew what is the number of shares. So wait. So just to give a twist in the case study, instead of giving you the number of shares directly, I have given you the per share figure of FCFE, which is rupees 10. And now you have to derive the number of shares based on this information. And just hold on. If we are in 2021, forget the evaluation part for the time being. We are in 2021. In 2021, my FCFE has become 120. And if I have to give this same case study to you again, then what will I do? Will I tell you that your FCFE per share is rupees 10, or I will say your FCFE per share is rupees 12? I will tell you your FCFE per share is rupees 12. So this information that you have is with regard to the year 1920. So it would change. I am understanding your impression is that now that we have said that FCFE is rupees 10, it will remain so for all the years. No, it will not remain so for all the years. It will change depending on what is the quantum of FCFE. I hope you get that, Surya.
But something is missing here, sir, because at least a year or something is mentioned there.
Yes, sir. I also endorse to Surya, sir. On the basis of FCFE, we are not able to, sir, calculate the number of shares.
Yes.
Because, sir, FCFE is always going through a change every year.
So how does it matter? How does it
Sir,
matter?
in the next year. Sir, but the value per equity share will not change. It will always be a 10. In the next year, it is 112. In the following year, 125. But the value per equity share always 10. So the number of equity shares is difficult to find on this, sir, given information.
No.
I think also.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, the FCFE per equity share is rupees 10 is the basic
Information.
nahi, for the basic year, and FCFE is also the for the basic year.
Right.
The reason it is divided. If it is for the future year.
Sir, it is not the investment, sir. It is FCFE. It
Yes,
is not the
I know.
investment.
Sir, can I talk?
Please, Venkat.
Sir, from what you have explained, FCFE, which is every year changes, is a given factor in the question by itself.
Right.
So we have to blindly take that if the base year is equal to a starting year. Suppose base year 2021, and as we explained, the problem gives it is 12 rupees. By dividing that FCFE by 12 will give the same 10.
Absolutely. That's
So
what.
there is no need to get confused on this one. It's a given factor in the problem which you have to just pluck it and apply.
Absolutely. That's what I was trying to explain. Surya, do you get it now?
Okay.